So the XDefiant closed beta is here, and it's got a lot of the FPS and COD community excited because it's something new to get our teeth into. Ex-COD pros and devs have been involved in the development of this game, so long-term COD fans will recognise the feel of the movement. The game definitely has a nod to some of the older titles such as the OG Black Ops games. So with this in mind, I'm going to be taking a look through my settings for XDefiant both in-game and on the Dualsense Edge controller. Obviously this is still in beta phase at the moment, so these settings are subject to change, but after a bit of testing, this is what I've landed on and started to feel comfortable with. The aim assist definitely isn't as strong as it is on Call of Duty and Warzone, so that in itself takes a bit of time to adjust to, but it will reward players who have better aim. The movement mechanics are interesting on this game because they kind of feel a bit slow and slightly clunky, but also fluid. You can slide, cancel and jump and aim down sight while sliding, which obviously everyone's been screaming for in Call of Duty, so it's definitely ticking a lot of boxes in that sense. Anyway, let's jump into the settings in-game first and then onto the controller. So to get to your settings in XDefiant, you want to press R3, and in the gameplay and user interface, I've got my field of view set to 110, which is personal preference. I found that 120 was kind of a bit wide, and with aim assist being a lot weaker on this, it felt like I was missing a lot more of my shots. You want to keep ADS field of view to consistent, ADS behavior to hold, ADS sensitivity to blend. The melee during ADS is no, because that'll be annoying. Aiming interrupts reload, yes, so you can cancel the reload. Toggle for the crouch behavior, auto sprint no, sprint interrupt yes, auto reload weapon yes, and auto switch weapon, so when you, both of the times if you run out of ammo, then it will auto do that. Auto grab ledge no, because I want to have more control over that. And you can adjust the HUD limits, and I've got my distance set in meters. Show damage yes, and same for the health bar, just so you know where you're at when you're fighting your enemies, and lock minimap rotation to no. And then when you come to controller, you want to have your button layouts as default. I've got my stick layouts default as well, and aim assist is set to standard. The only other option here is disabled, so it's either on or off. And like I said, aim assist isn't particularly strong in this, so this game definitely rewards accuracy in this. With that in mind, the strength adjustment is set to 0. The only other options are negative values, so that essentially decreases the aim assist, which isn't as strong as Call of Duty anyway. So you want to have those up at 0. I've got my aim response curve type to linear, which then pairs in with the precision on the Dualsense Edge controller, and I've got my look and scope sensitivities reduced down. So I've got my look sensitivity at 0.05x and my scope at 0.40x. So that's just to slow down the movement when you're looking down ADS. Invert horizontal axis no, but I personally do play with invert vertical axis, but that's obviously personal preference. And again, with this, personal preference depends how you play on games like Call of Duty, whether you have it as a higher sensitivity so you're a bit more flicky. I've got mine set at 50-50 across horizontal and vertical here, and I've been playing around with this a little bit, but the acceleration speed multiplier I pulled all the way down to 0 because it was giving almost S-curve input, which felt really odd and made you kind of feel overly strafey, I think, so I've just turned that off and found that best. Again, dead zone's going to be based on your controller, how new it is and your personal preference, but I've got these set to 0.3 or 0.3 should I say, and controller vibration I've got turned off. And now if we jump over to the Dualsense Edge controller settings, I've set up a separate custom profile for XDefiant, which is different to my Warzone one, and within that I've got all of the buttons set to default, and my left paddle set to circle, so that's my slide, and my right paddle set to X, so that's my jump, so you can kind of do the slide cancelling just off the paddles there. When it comes to stick sensitivity, as with other games, generally I leave the left stick as it is because that's just for movement, so that's at default. No adjustment to the curve and no dead zone. Changes come when you get to the right stick, and I've got mine set to precision, which I found to be the best option in here. You could try out dynamic curve, but you may want to change the in-game curve to reverse curve or dynamic in there as well. But I go with precision and then reduce the curve adjustment by -2. I've got no dead zone on here, but when we get to the triggers dead zones, my left trigger is from 0 to 100, but I have reduced my dead zone to 1 on the right hand trigger, which essentially makes it a digital input trigger now, a bit like a mouse. So you'll find that your shooting is very twitchy now. There's no travel on the triggers and you'll get your shots off super quickly. This is something you could also try in Warzone, but it's kind of personal preference of how much sensitivity you want on these buttons. And I've got vibration intensity off and trigger effect intensity off as well. So hopefully you found that useful. If you did, then please consider giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel for more SPF content. And you can catch me live over on Twitch and Kick. I've left all the links in the description box below. As I say, this is only a beta at the moment, so these are subject to change, but these are what I found have worked best for me up until now. And if you want to check out what settings I use in Warzone on the controller and in game, then check out this video here.